going to talk to you about the game Spy Alley. Now, Spy Alley is a really fun game. It's really simple to play and to learn how to play, but that doesn't necessarily mean it's simple to win. It actually is sort of like Clue, because you are a spy and you and your fellow spies are trying to figure out who each other are and try to take each other out. And basically the last one standing wins. So even though it's simple to learn and simple to play, it involves a lot of bluffing, so sometimes it's not so simple to win. So the object of the game is to collect all the spy items: the password, disguise, code book, and key from the country indicated on your secret spy ID card. So when you play, everyone gets one of these. It's a game for 2 to 6 players, so there could be up to 6 spies. So there's people like Nicole, the French spy, Jane, the American spy, Rosita, the Italian spy, Boris, the Russian spy, Wilhelm, the German spy, and Ricardo, the Spanish spy. Now, what makes this really fun if you're playing with less than 6 people is you don't know which spies are not actually in the game at the time. But if you're playing with up to 6 people, you'll know that somebody is one of these cards. So everybody will get one of these cards at the beginning. And so what you'll want to do is you'll need to collect your password, disguise, code book, and key from the country indicated on your spy ID card. Then you'll need to land in your country's embassy space without the other players learning your identity. So everybody gets one of these Spy Alley scorecards. So as you go around the board, you'll collect passwords, disguises, code books, and keys, and they cost a certain amount of money. And you'll get these little pegs. And you put these little pegs into your scorecard, and that's what's going to help you know which items you've collected as you go along. Now, the trick is everybody is going to see your scorecard. You can see theirs and theirs can see yours. So, of course, if you collect just your items, then they're going to say, hey, they're only collecting German stuff. They must be German. So the trick here is to get your things while also collecting the other spy gear to bluff your opponents. So you're going to go around the board on the outside, basically, unless you land here, which is the Spy Alley entrance. Now, you want to go into Spy Alley entrance, especially when you have all your stuff, because here's where the embassies are: the French, German, Spanish, Italian, American, and Russian. So that's where you're going to want to go when you have collected your items. However, if you land on the entrance, you can get stuck and have to go in there whether or not you really wanted to or not, which can be okay, because first of all, there is a collect $20 space, which, hey, more money means you can buy more gear. There's also a spy eliminator space, which is actually a really good space if you have to go in there, if you can hit it. And we'll talk about more of that in a minute. So the winner is the first player to either get to their embassy with all their gear before anyone guesses them, or is the last player remaining in the game after all the other players have been eliminated. So it is possible for you to be eliminated before the end of the game. So as you go around the board, now interesting move mechanics. It is dice based, so you can either roll a dice and then move 3 spaces, or as you go around the board, you're going to collect these move cards. Now the move cards have different numbers on them. So like this is save 6, save 2, save 2, and you can collect any number of them. And what you would do is, before you roll the dice on your turn, you can decide, do you want to roll the dice or do you want to use one of your move cards? Now that's nice, because if you roll the dice, it gives sort of a random aspect. You never know exactly where you're going to where you're going to land. But the move cards give you the opportunity to pick where you want to go, which is especially helpful if you're trying to get, say, to the black market, or to buy a code book, or if you're trying to get into Spy Alley to get to your embassy. The other thing you're going to collect as you go around are these free gift cards. And you get those, there are some spaces, free gift spaces where you get those. And those are going to give you things like the Spanish code book, a Russian code book. There's a wild card. Now that's interesting because you can use it to buy anything and put it on your scoreboard, but you don't actually have to say or put a peg in that space until the end of the game. Just keep it sort of a secret. Of course, then there's disguises, another code book, key. And the nice thing about this, especially with the keys, if you get a free gift of a key, is keys cost you $30. So if you can get a free gift one, that's very nice. So that's what the free gift cards are, and you can collect them as you go around. Move cards you can keep as long as you want. Gift cards, you immediately use them and then put them on your scorecard, and then they go on the bottom of the pile. So, now the colors of the pieces do not correspond to your spy card ID. You just pick whatever color you want, because if you could tell if they had a color, then you would know who was who. So even though there are colors on here, your piece does not necessarily correspond to the color. So you could be the purple French person, but walking around the board with the yellow Spanish icon. So you don't actually want to pick that, but it's all random. So anyhow, now there are some special board spaces on there. For instance, there is the black market, which is like one of them are here. The black market space is the player landing on this space may buy any one item of their choice at the price indicated. So say, you can either buy something you're missing for your own item, or you can buy any one of it. But you only buy one. You can't buy like 5 passwords or anything like that. You can buy like 1 password, 1 key, etc. So it's nice because you don't have to wait to get to a special space for it, or to try to draw a free one. You can buy it if you want to, if you need it. There's border crossings, like for here. That's where you have to pay the bank the amount of money, like $5. Code books. If you land on the code book space, but there's one like right here that allows you to buy a code book for $15. There is a space called Confiscate Materials that is inside the Spy Alley. And the Spy Alley, by the way, is this one right here. The outside of the board is the main area, but Spy Alley is this part. So Confiscate Materials spot is where you can confiscate any one item from one player only. The player confiscating the item must pay the loser, losing the item, the amount. So like, say if player A took player B's code book, say French code book, they would give the other player B, $15 for it, but they still get to have that piece. But you cannot take any item that's already in your possession, unless you have a wild card, unless it's a wild card. There are disguise spots where if you land on that one, you can buy as many disguises as you want. Now, for the black market, you can only buy one item. But let's say I landed on, code book. I could buy as many code books as I wanted for $15 each. As long as I had the money, I could buy code books for all 6 spies if I wanted to. So that's the nice thing about those. The prices add up. Embassy spaces. So those are the ones that are inside Spy Alley. Embassy space, any player who lands on their own embassy space and has collected all of the spy items for their country wins the game. Otherwise, if you happen to land on it, say you're the German spy, and you only have one of your items, but you still landed on the space, you're just visiting your embassy. Nobody has to know that that's your place. Free gift cards we talk about. Key spaces, just like the other ones, you can buy as many keys as you want. Move cards, we talked about how they give you the opportunity to be able to move as many places as you want without using the dice. Password spaces, same thing. A Spy Alley entrance. Okay, so this is important. You can either choose to enter Spy Alley, or you might be forced to. So let's say you roll the dice, and you get a 5, and you can go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you can pass it. Now, if you happen to land there, you'd have to pay the $5. Or if you wanted to, you could go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and actually go in it. However, if it just so happens that you land on it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, you actually have to. If your piece lands on Spy Alley, you actually have to go into it, whether you want to or not. The good thing about that is every time you go in there, you get $20. Every time you pass start, you get $15. There's some other spots on here where you collect money, and of course you need the money so that you can buy the different items. So there's like a collect 10, pay 5. There's another one in here where you confiscate materials. That's the one where we talked about before, where you buy it from someone else, and collect 20. So there's a few places where you can collect money as you go besides just the start space. Okay, so the point of the game is to try to guess your opponent's identity, and you do it for everyone to hear. You don't have to do it in secret. You can say, player A can say to player B, I think player B is the Russian spy or the French spy. So, and you can do it instead of taking your turn. So when it comes to be your turn, you can either roll the dice and move, or you can say, I want to make a guess. I guess that so-and-so is the French spy. If your guess is correct, so if player A is correct when they accuse player B, then that player B is out of the game. He's been eliminated. However, if player A is wrong and player B is not the French spy, they don't have to reveal who they are. They can just say, no, that's just not me. Then the player A, or the person who made the guess, is out of the game. So there is a little bit of risk of accusing people. I mean, if you get rid of them, yay! But if they don't, then you're out too. So it's a little bit of a playing Russian roulette. You might get it or you might not. That's where the spy eliminator space comes in. So if you land on that, you can accuse somebody, just one person, for free without risking yourself. You can say, I think, player A can say, I think player B is the French spy, and they can say, no, I'm not, and you're still alive. You don't get kicked out of the game. So if they're correct, however, when one player is eliminated, the other player, so say player A said, hey, you're the French spy. Player B said, darn it, you got me. What happens is player A receives all that person's money, all their cards, and their items collected on their scorecard and the spy ID card. Now that's important because let's say you are the American, that's you, and you accuse the other person of being French and you were right. Now, not only do you have all their money and you get to add all their stuff to your spy card, now you get to decide, do you want to stay the American spy or do you want to stay the French one? So secretly, you mix them up, you decide, you mix them up, and then you turn one of them in. So now the other players aren't going to know, are you French or are you whatever your mysterious other identity was? So that allows you to switch, I guess, allegiances, you could say, during the game. So, and like I said, we don't let anybody else see it. Okay, so to end the game, of course, is to be the last one, either the first one with all your stuff to reach your embassy without getting outed, or the last one standing at the end of the game. So it's pretty fun. The important thing is to try to remember to bluff. It's going to be a little hard to get your stuff and bluff other people at the same time. So you're going to have to remember to try to do that to make the game last longer. So it's pretty quick. It's pretty easy to learn, but it's really, really a lot of fun to play. Thank you so much.